We're in the period of counting the Omer, where every day we count an additional day, starting from the second day of Pesach, when we were freed as a people, freed from slavery from Egypt. And we're going towards, we're ascending, coming to the mountain of Mount Sinai on the holiday of Shavuot to receive the Torah. Now, this is a Jewish thing, so to say. But is there also something very relevant for the rest of humanity, for the whole world, in the Torah? Does God speak to only the Jewish people? Or does he have a message also for the rest of humanity? Stay with me and you'll find out something most interesting. But first of all of us together, let's say thank you to Hashem for all the good that he does to us, for giving his life. Mizmor lesoida, Oriul Adonai kol haaretz, Ivdu es Adonai b'simcha, Boi lefanav birnona, Du'uk Adonai Elohim, Hu asanu v'lo anachnu amo b'tzoi marisoi, Boi yishor b'soida chatzeroisa b'sila, Hoidu lebachu shumoi ki tov Adonai li'olam chazdoi v'yadoi v'odoi emunasoi. Let's give some tzedakah, and let me share with you what I'm referring to. In fact, in the 1980s, the Rebbe started a campaign, Sheva Mitzvahs B'nei Noach, spreading in the world the 7 Noahic laws. Call it the universal commandments. The universal, I would even say more than this. It's a mission of all of humanity. Torah, although was given on Mount Sinai for the Jewish people, because we were the only ones who accepted it. In fact, it says before God gave us the Torah, God went to all the nations and asking them, do you want the Torah? And everybody refused. The last nation that God came to was the Jewish people, and we said we accept wholeheartedly. Some say that what God actually presented to the rest of the humanity, to all the nations, wasn't the whole Torah, was the 7 laws. Although they were known already beforehand, but God offered them to make it into a full godly experience. Unfortunately, they rejected it, but it's in the Torah. So on Mount Sinai was also given the 7 Noahic laws for all of humanity. And in fact, interesting, the Rambam, Maimonides, in Hilchas Malachim, the laws of kings, in chapter 8, he writes the following, that a non-Jew who accepts these mitzvahs, who follows those 7 laws, not just because he thinks they're right, because his grandparents or whatever, it's a tradition. No, they accept it because God gave it on Mount Sinai. Because they were commanded in the Torah, just like all the commandments given to the Jewish people, the 613. Then says the Rambam that if a Gentile follows these laws, he's considered Chassid Umoisa Olam, of the righteous Gentiles. And in fact, says the Rambam, they're going to deserve the world to come. Now, what are these 7 laws? Believe in God, no idolatry. Respect for God, no blasphemy. Respect for life, no murder. Respect for family, no forbidden relationships. Respect for property, no stealing. Respect for creation, no cruelty against animals, eva min achai, chopping off a piece of flesh from a living animal. And the 7th, establishing courts of justice. A court of morality, a court of justice. Interesting Hasidic teaching, it's explained, there's not just some random laws to make it for better civilization. They correspond to the structure of the world itself. The 7 emotional attributes. Following these 7 laws, perfect our 7 emotional attributes. And through them, when humanity lives accordingly, makes the world a dwelling place for Hashem. And as I said, in the 1980s, the Rebbe very, very much promoted that. And he said this is all part of the process of Geula, because Mashiach is not just coming for the Jewish people. Mashiach is coming for all of humanity. As he says, the entire universe will be filled with knowledge of God, just like the ocean is filled with water. So the entire world has to recognize the presence of a God, believing in God and its certain moral behaviors. So this is not just to have a nice world. This is actually the blueprint and the purpose and the mission of humanity. So fellas, do it, and we will all celebrate Mashiach.